It's your boy Soulful Sense Tay, and welcome back to another Soulful Sundays, where we express individuality through the vice of fragrances. Because, like the soul, every fragrance can be unique. What's going on, Soulful Family, man? Tapping back in on today's episode of Soulful Families. As you've seen in the title, we got 9 fragrances and 9 fragrance reviewers. So what I wanted to do with this video, first off, Happy New Year. This video was supposed to be the first video I dropped this year, but as you see my previous videos, technical issues and stuff like that, I wasn't able to drop it. But we're here with it now. So starting off for me, 2025 is all about peace, love, and appreciation. So I thought about why not showing appreciation to some of the content creators and fragrance reviewers that helped me start my fragrance wardrobe, now fragrance collection, and just some of the guys who I enjoy watching their content and things of that nature. And for me, some of the things I look for when looking at people's content and deciding if I'm watch them long term or just that specific video is, one, the fragrances they're reviewing to talk about. 2, if they're authentic. 3 is their personality and if they're entertaining. And these guys are a combination of the 3, and that's why I watch their videos. So the way I decided to do this video is, one, starting from the beginning, from who I first started watching all the way to now, as well as the first fragrance I blind bought from one of their reviews or recommendations that I absolutely loved. So with that being said, some of these might have a little controversy to it. You'll see as I get into them. But for the most part, like I said, this is all love, appreciation, and peace. So coming up first, without further ado, we're going to start with none other than the Bowtie Fragrance Guy. That's what he's known as. Real name is Derrick. But when I first started my journey in fragrances, I had, the typical designers, things like that. I dove in the niche, and the only niche I had at the time was creative vintage, of course. But I wanted to switch it up, and he recommended this one fragrance that was in the same vein, but it was different. Coming from the house of Bond Number 9, it is Centerpiece. And you can see the dent in there. I think so. But I blind bought this fragrance, and as he said, it reminded me of creative vintage, but it was absolutely was different. What I get with this fragrance is it's an aromatic, fruity, woody type fragrance. Some of the main notes I get is pineapple. Hold on. Some of the main notes I get is definitely that pineapple, juniper berry, and vetiver. Very easy going, grab and go, anytime fragrance. You can wear it all year, but me personally, I wouldn't wear it in the winter. But all around, Bowtie Fragrance Guy, I blind bought this fragrance off of his recommendation, and I was not disappointed. Still one of the staples in my collection to this day. Shout out to him, salute. But that is, Bond Number 9's Scent of Peace. Coming up next, we have my guy Buck, aka Triple B, Big Beard Business. He's the second fragrance reviewer that I really tuned into and started watching it, really enjoyed his content. And the first fragrance that I end up blind buying on behalf of his recommendations is a sweet, fruity, floor kind of woody fragrance known from the house of Byron Parfums. We have Mula Mula. I don't know if you can see that right there, but what you're going to get with this fragrance, man, like I said, it's sweet, it's fruity, it's floral. You get some caramel, you get peach, ginger, vanilla, some musk as well in this fragrance. And for the most part, I wear this in the spring and fall, not really too much in winter and summer. I feel like it's best in those two seasons off my skin. A great fragrance. You can you wear it in versatile any day, any situation in those seasons. But I do think it works best in those seasons. But like I said, it's a sweet, fruity floral with some woods, kind of musky fragrance. You can't go wrong. Uh, Appreciate it. Shout out to you, Buck. This is Byron Parfums Mula Mula. Coming up next, this one is from Stay Fresh Productions, my guy Justin Copeland. When I first started watching him, I started watching him because he was one of the few fragrance reviewers who wasn't talking about all the same, mainstream type fragrances, your Dior Sauvages. Granted, that wasn't out then, but your Aqua di Joes, your 1 Millions, things of that nature. He was really talking about the indie niche style perfumeries, and this it was different for me. Even though I didn't really understand his sense of humor, his personality in the beginning, I kept watching because he was doing something different in my eyes as far as the fragrances he talked about. And over time, I eventually know I started to understand him a little bit better and how he did his contact. And to this day, he's still one of my favorite fragrance reviewers. And the fragrance that I end up blind buying off a recommendation from him, it's a sweet, earthy oud style of fragrance, woody, slightly spicy. And that fragrance is none other than vanilla oud from Virtus. There we go. It focus. And what you're going to get with this fragrance, like I said, I gave you the main accords, but the main things I smell is that rich vanilla, this a little animalic, funky oud, but it's not too funky over the top. But you get caramel and you get light fruity notes, but mainly you get that oud, that vanilla, and that caramel. And the way it's blended, it really works very well together. Like I said, it's a little animalic and kind of that funky oud, but it works. Um, Side note, I first bought this fragrance and I wore it in the summer. And I thought originally it was a bad fragrance and I was going to sell it. But I held on to it, wore it again for Thanksgiving in the cooler weather, and I understood the magic. And that was the first time when I really started to understand that sometimes certain fragrances are built and meant to be worn in certain weather, certain environments, certain climates. So that was just some of the growth that I had in my fragrance journey. Because this fragrance I did not like in the heat. I wanted to sell it, but wore it again in cooler weather, and I understood the magic that came with this fragrance. From the house of Virtus, we have Vanilla Oud. The fragrance review we have coming up next is probably one of the most straightforward, no nonsense guys in the community, but with that no nonsense type of personality, man, dude he's a character. He's funny. He has a great nose. Might be a little bit expensive, but a great nose nonetheless. It's my guy, Equality Fragrance, known as EQ in the community. Man, I found him way back when, and he raved about this fragrance right here. It's a fruity floral with some musk in it, light citrus. This is Mancera's Pearl. And like I said, what you get with this fragrance is fruity, is floral. You get a beautiful fig note, a nice white peach. You get some musk and a little mossy and light citruses in this fragrances. It's very strong, perfect for a summer, spring, fall. I wear it in the winter, but you might not like it. But it has the staying power to be worn in the cooler weathers. But this for me is one of those fragrances that leans a little bit feminine, but it doesn't bother me because I like feminine fragrance to an extent, as well as some guys y'all might not know or understand that those feminine fragrances are conversation starters when it comes to the women and the ladies out there. They enjoy smelling a man that's wearing something that that they can also wear themselves. So, like I said, this fragrance right here is a powerhouse. Beautiful fruity floral, beautiful fig note from the house of Mansura, that is Pearl. Coming up next, man, we probably have one of the most hardworking guys in the fragrance community, even though he gets a bunch of unnecessary hate from trolls and nerds in the community. Man, he has a great nose, very entertaining. Like I said, probably one of the hardest working guys in Fragcom, and that is my guy Ross over at TLTG Reviews. Man, I was watching him up for a long time simply because I enjoyed his content and I enjoyed his personality. For a while, I never bought nothing based off his recommendations. I would just support it simply because I loved his content. But then he started to rave about this one fragrance that is a floral, a smoky floral that's slightly, I would say, is a smoky floral that's slightly um, slightly aromatic as well. And that fragrance is Signature Rose from Zaharoff. And yes, you see the dent, bottles, almost halfway gone. Definitely plan on getting another one. But he raved so much about this fragrance, and it was I heard him talk about the house before, and the way he described it, and this was around the same time I was understanding that rose was becoming my favorite fragrance note. So when the way he described this fragrance and talked about it, I had to get my nose on it. So I blind bought it. And like I said, it's a floral, smoky floral fragrance. And the main things you get is rose and incense. And if I'm not mistaken, it is two types of roses in here, and you get mixed with that incense and that smoky accord. Man, this is beautiful. Probably one of my top 5 rose fragrances in my collection. Excuse me, but as well as this fragrance is just beautiful. I get tons of compliments with it, as well as um, I get a slight nuance when I do wear this in the heat, because most people probably will wear it in spring, fall, probably winter, but I also wear it in the summertime. And surprisingly, I don't know what note it is, what accords, and why it does this, but when I wear it in the summertime, along with that rose and incense, I get a slight chocolatey accord that just does wonders when wearing this fragrance. So the way it nuance and the wearing experience that I get even in the summertime, this just a beautiful fragrance for me. So check out TLTG Reviews. Like I said, this is my fragrance that I blind bought from him, and I love it. Signature Rose from the house of Zahara. All right, coming up next, the next reviewer I found on my fragrance journey was a young lady that goes by Curly Fragrance. I think her real name is Michelle, but her channel is Curly Fragrance. Very entertaining, very upbeat, full of energy. Um, a lot of people might hate on her, but because she's kind of vulgar. But like I said, it's entertaining, and I like the content that she makes. But the first fragrance that I bought off of one of her reviews and recommendations was a floral sweet coffee fragrance, and that fragrance is Intense Cafe from Montal. And the main things I get with this fragrance was rose, coffee, incense, with a little bit of musk, and the way it's blended is very beautiful. She likes to call it the Casanova fragrance, the Mr. Steal Your Girl fragrance, but that's her thing. Like I said, what I get when I wear it is that rose, that incense, that coffee. It's very beautiful. It's a powerhouse fragrance to last all day. It's a conversation starter, because this is another one of those unisex fragrances that women could wear and also like. So it's a conversation starter as well. Um, so I would definitely, get your nose on this one, as because the ladies will love it, you'll love it. You can't go wrong with it. If not, get a sample. That is Intense Cafe. Coming up next, we have another very entertaining fragrance reviewer. He can be kind of vulgar, but I love it because he is himself. Him and one of his partners as well. They come up, they make very funny content while still giving you a detailed review and recommendation of the fragrance. And the first fragrance I blind bought from this person, which is he's known as Cuba, Q to the B to the A. Cuba Knows on YouTube. I blind bought this fragrance, and it has become the king of date night, the staple date night fragrance in my collection. It's boozy, it's sweet, it's spicy, it's woody. This is Plum and Cognac from Scent of Woods. Very beautiful bottle. I plan on getting another bottle as well. That way I can customize it. If you didn't know, with Scent of Wood, you can customize their bottles. But um, with this fragrance, man, I got it and I was blown away. You get some juicy plum, you get booziness from the rum, you get cinnamon, you get hints of vanilla, and a little bit of vetiver, if I'm not mistaken, in the dry down. But man, this fragrance is simply beautiful. The perfect date night fragrance for me, anytime, any type of date. If I want to dress up or at least semi casual, this is the fragrance I'm going to go with on a date night. I got a full review coming of this fragrance soon, as well as upscale date night video coming. But of course, this fragrance right here is going to be here. Like I said, boozy, juicy, plum, nice cinnamon accord, vanilla, and woods. Man, you can't go wrong. I advise you getting your nose on this fragrance and checking out Cuba Knows, his content, great reviewer. Salute to you, Cuba. Coming up next, this fragrance review is a little bit newer um, to myself as far as the content that I watch. Probably been watching them about a year now, a little over a year actually. But with that being said, it's a little story that goes along with how I came about blind buying the fragrance that I did based off his recommendation. I was on my way to the mall um, to smell Blue Talisman and buy that if I liked it. And I was watching his video on this fragrance. He was talking about basically the best cherry fragrance that's out there. Cherry, little sweet. Oh, excuse me. Cherry, a little sweet, a little floral, with some woods, and he raved about it being the best cherry fragrance. So I had that in the back of my mind when I went to the mall, and I ended up smelling this fragrance Blue Talisman. It was good, but to me, wasn't worth the money. So with that being said, I had this fragrance in the back of my mind, so I said I was going to go smell it. I smelled it once and knew I had to have it. That fragrance was French Defense from Mind Games. And the fragrance reviewer, my camera's not focusing. The fragrance reviewer that really raved and put me onto this fragrance, even though I had a sample set coming, was the butcher himself, Mr. Derrick Hicks Jr. And man, when I tell you his content is very straightforward, it's entertaining. He has a great personality, a great nose, and um, I felt I can vibe with him because he was on his own fragrance journey, learning um, and discovering new things the same as I was. So when I seen this video on this fragrance, like I said, I was at the mall. I smelled it once and really I call it a blind buy because I didn't get to spend no time with it, wearing experience, none of that. I really didn't know nothing but initial impression. Blind bought it right there on the spot. You get this juicy cherry, you get violet leaf, You get some light florals, like I think it's rose, and it might be another one in there, but it's blended so well, I really can't tell that rose really sits in the background. It's really hard to pinpoint it. And in the dry down, you get some soft woods as well with this fragrance. To me, French to French is definitely beautiful. Highly recommend. Um, Once I got it and wore it a couple of times, I definitely understood the hype that came with this fragrance. And so, if you haven't, checked out the butcher, Mr. Derrick Hicks Jr., make sure you definitely tap into his content. Great dude, great content. Um, Salute to you, D. Coming up next, this reviewer, I found him simply because on one of his posts, I can't remember if it was IG or YouTube, I seen he was in a truck, like an 18-wheeler truck. And if you didn't know, that's also my profession as well. So I tapped into his content and really started to enjoy his content. And this fragrance, he was on live with Ross and Dedrick, and he talked about this fragrance, and the way he described it, I had to, get my nose on it. And instead of getting a sample, because by this time in my fragrance journey, I learned about sampling first. So I really wasn't doing too much blind buying. But off of his recommendation, his review, the way he described this fragrance, I blind bought it and I absolutely loved it. It's a fruity, tropical, sweet, kind of woody fragrance. And that fragrance is Mango Magnificent from Uniquely Luxury. Man, this fragrance is very beautiful, very easy reach, grab and go. To me, I can wear it all year round. It could be a signature scent. You're gonna get mango bergamot, some florals, and in the dry down, you're gonna get some soft woods and some amber as well to give it this fragrance that body. And for me, man, I get great longevity out of it. It was just I think it was the ripe mango that very kind of bitter and ripe mango that really drove me into this fragrance. So if you haven't tried it out, I would just suggest trying it as well as tapping in to Tazo, the reviewer's content, because that is the reviewer as well that really put me on to this fragrance, and I started tapping in. He's a younger guy like myself, no nonsense, great personality, funny. So I tapped in to his content, and I really been enjoying it along my journey. So if you haven't tried this fragrance, this is Uniquely Luxury's Mango Magnificent. So that was my time. 9 reviewers, 9 fragrances. There's a few other guys out there that I really enjoy their content. I just haven't blind bought or got anything based off their recommendation yet. So it's probably going to be a part 2 of this video. My guy Sally Knows It All, Charm City, Scents and Sniffs with Hidden Gems and Jason. It's a couple of guys and girls out there else that I watch that I really enjoy their content. I'm going to tag everybody from this video down in the description so y'all can easily find their channel and tune in to the content that they make. So, peace and love, man. Show that to any and everybody. It doesn't cost you a thing to show love, be peaceful, and be appreciative. So until next time, tell a friend to tell a friend, like, comment, subscribe, turn the notification bell on. Peace and love. Blessings.